Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Behind the Wow, the podcast where we connect our homeowners with the incredible team members who bring the wow to life for our owners and guests every single day. I'm your host, Christine Izard, your homeowner relations manager, and today we're diving into a topic that comes up often: how our marketing process really works behind the scenes. I'm thrilled to be joined by someone who knows that world inside and out, our director of marketing, Julie George. Julie, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So Julie, tell us a little bit about your background and how long you've been with Moving Mountains.
Well, actually, tomorrow is my 5-year anniversary with Moving Mountains. So it's been just about 5 years with the company. And I've actually been in marketing for more than 20 years now, throughout travel, software as a service, and even cybersecurity. But when, I joined the vacation rental world with Moving Mountains, I found this really great kind of intersection of brand, hospitality, and service that I really just love. My focus here, is continuing to build and continuing to protect this brand that's consistent, trustworthy, genuine, special. So I'm just always looking to make sure that we're reflecting the high standards that our guests have, and of course, you, our homeowners. I'm a graduate of Boston University, and I've been really fortunate to live and work in great places across the world and the country, in Tokyo, Dubai, Costa Rica, Connecticut, California, Texas, Oregon, and Colorado, of course. So I think that experience really helps to shape the way that I think about travel, our guest expectations, and what makes stays really meaningful. And a little bit about me personally outside of work. I love being on the water, in the mountains, paddling, skiing, snowboarding, hiking, and I love exploring the world with my daughter and my husband through slow travel. So that's a little bit about me and Moving Mountains.
That's awesome, Julie. Thank you so much. We are very lucky to have someone like you with that vast experience on our team. Since you mentioned it a couple of times, I think a great place for us to start is kind of talking about branding. Is sort of, when I think about it, kind of the heart of marketing. And it's just so important for us to have a focused brand. When you think about Moving Mountains as a brand, what are kind of like the most important or first things that come to your mind?
Brand, really comes down to our mission, which I also see as the brand promise. We create memorable vacations and exceptional homes. So that's the commitment that we make to every guest, right? We want to provide this incredible experience in this amazing home. So we're aiming to not just meet those expectations, but to exceed them. And that is where we create the trust, that brand trust, that loyalty in the guest. And when that happens, that's when the magic happens. And that's when, a repeat booking, either in that home or somewhere else in the portfolio, just becomes natural and almost easy. So being consistent in the type of homes, right? The product that we provide, which is all of your beautiful homes that I'm so lucky to represent. And also the service that the Moving Mountains team provides by delivering wow consistently across every guest, every home, every stay that we have. So consistency on those things and just keeping top of mind, and whatever it is, if it's the upkeep of the home or, the smile of the front desk person greeting the guest, is always about that memorable experience or vacation and that exceptional home. So I think that's really important and imperative to getting repeat bookings.
Yes, and I absolutely agree. I think we do such a great job in focusing on the experience that we're not just presenting a home and a bed to sleep in, that it's more than that. It's really about creating those memories that make people think about this vacation, for years to come and truly make them want to come back. I think another really important part of the branding piece is photography. And I do get tons of questions from our homeowners about our photography. I think that our website is amazing. I think we do a really great job with our listings. What are your focus, when you have a photographer go to a home or when you're putting the photos in order? What is kind of the things that you look at as most important?
Yeah, thank you, Christine. We take pride in the listings of your homes and of course the quality of the photography. So what we're really trying to do is convey, an experience. Again, that experience in the home, because like you just said, I loved it. It's just beyond a vacation rental experience, right? We're trying to provide this moving mountains experience, not just an Airbnb, and that is super important to the brand. So it's the same with our photography. So we do a lot of staging that you'll notice in our photos. We want people to feel like, how am I going to experience a space? So I have an image behind me, right? It's an office and it looks like someone is using the office, right? There's a notebook out and a pen, and I'm not sure if there's glasses out, but sometimes we have these things on the bedside table, a book you might be reading, a glass of milk, possibly next to a bunk bed, or a stuffed animal there. We want you to imagine the guests to imagine their family being there, themselves being there, their friends being there, and how they might enjoy the space. A cup of coffee by the fireplace, whatever it is. So it's very important to us to kind of paint that experience. To have nothing be distracting. That's like the quality of the photo, right? And have everything being crisp and clear. You can see through behind me. You can see through to the next room and right out that window. Nothing glaring. Also very important for us to include all of the home. You might say, why did you do the most exciting part of my house? But the guest wants to be able to go through three sets of washers and dryers, and to be able to see that. They can read it in a description, but it's very important for us to show them in every single way and be a little bit redundant. So showing the true full view of the home, what truly is outside the window, if it's a beautiful view, or maybe part of the house might overlook a parking lot, and that's okay. It's still a beautiful house. And we don't want the guests to have a kind of a surprise when they arrive. So that's very, very important. So giving the experience, starting to tell the story of what a vacation in this home might look like, and giving something truly accurate is our aim with photography.
Yeah, I think you guys do a great job of really setting the stage for somebody to be able to picture themselves having that cup of coffee on the deck looking out at the mountains. But I think the accuracy as well is so important, because we want to make sure that we share wonderful photos with our guests, but also want to make sure when they get to the home, it truly comes to life with them. So in speaking about photography, I think that also leads us into a great question, is how we find the right guest. We set everything up. We give them that picture to be able to put themselves in the home, having that cup of coffee. How do we find that guest that is truly looking for an experience, maybe as opposed to, the best rate or a discount or promotion?
That's a great question. So over the years, we've really found that our guest mix, we're getting, many guests coming from the kind of metropolitan hubs throughout the United States, with high discretionary income. They tend to travel in multi-generational groups, large families, possibly multiple families coming together. So we've really a good job of trying to focus in on those markets. It also reflects the flights, the flight patterns, and the options that are available in our local airports. So that's really where we found the guests, and we do a lot of targeting in that way. And then, of course, the ways that we reach them through different channels, the type of messaging that we're using, and when we're targeting them as well.
Yeah, and I know we have a lot of different channels. I know I always talk a lot about, Marriott and American Express. How do those brands sort of align with ours in helping us find that guest and get the right connection?
I think that, aligning with premium partners, like you said, Marriott and American Express, as well as, other ones that might not be as well known, but to certain travelers, they are villas of distinction, one fine stay, something as specific as ski.com just for ski vacations. We have a lot of relationships with travel agents and all sorts of different partners that we've cultivated over the years. And when we find the right partner, it's really a beautiful thing, because they are excited because they have these guests that are looking for a certain kind of a product, and it's hard for them to find what we have. So when we find that synchronicity, it's really special for both of us, I think. And it's for Moving Mountains, it's wonderful because these partnerships help us to continue to attract new guests. We talked about brand and how important it is for repeat bookings, but of course, those are guests we've already captured. So throughout marketing, but also partnerships, we get to, find these guests that are used to, Marriott travel or different levels through American Express travel, and to be able to trust our brand because they've been vetted through these other brands that they've trusted over the years is really, again, a great thing for both sides.
Yeah, and I know that these partners, they definitely don't just say yes. They hold us to a certain standard as well, and definitely have rules for our homes being part of their programs.
Yes, definitely. So they look at every single home. So sometimes they're physically walking through the home. Sometimes they're looking at the photos that we provide. We get lots of questions. So it is not an all or nothing thing. They're very specific and have rules. But thankfully, most of the standards sit right in line with the standards that Moving Mountains has established for ourselves.
Yeah, that's great. And I think those partnerships are really important. For an example, we just went through this government shutdown where we saw things happening with TSA and the airlines and cancellation, where it puts a lot of fear out there about people traveling and having a difficult time. How does your team stay ahead when those kinds of things happen? And how do we pivot when it's like all of a sudden, oh man, our bookings are slowing down because there is this fear out there, or this thing that's out of our control?
Yeah, I mean, with the recent, issues in airports and flights, it was a lot of communication. It was our team reaching out to guests that are already booked, or with guests that they were speaking with that were interested, and that was really a lot of just proactive communication about what we can do. But something like that is, out of our hands, and we do our best to appease their worries and talk about travel insurance and the importance of that, of course. But then there's things that change that are out of our hands, but that we can manage a little bit, right? So Airbnb recently, made some changes to their fee structure. We knew it was coming. We did an analysis of what that could look like for us. We made a decision on how to move forward, but that doesn't mean that's set in stone, and that's the way that we're going to continue to do that. So that's one of those things that we will just keep looking at, that and how is that impacting bookings or pacing, maybe the overall revenue. But it's an outside force with one of our partners. that has made a business decision for themselves, and we look at it for us. So we're just always looking, right? There are things that are daily, things that are weekly, things that are quarterly, and just, adjusting in whatever way we can. And with these partnerships, like, Marriott and American Express, but also Airbnb and Vrbo and the other big players, we have, account managers that we speak to regularly, and they help us to maneuver through this as well.
Absolutely. And I think the team is really great about being nimble. And we always know that when we get over one obstacle, there's going to be another one waiting. So we definitely appreciate your team always being on their toes.
Of course.
And in talking about your team being on their toes and being so nimble, I know that you guys have a pretty good arsenal of certain tactics that you guys really focus on. And I know that marketing mix is a big one, because we have to have a little bit of everything. We can't just focus, on one channel. We definitely don't want to get tunnel vision there. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, definitely. So we, just talked about some distribution and different channel partnerships that we have, but with more traditional marketing, we have quite a mix. Paid search is a big focus for us on Google and Bing, including display within there, retargeting. So if someone visits the site, we'll then kind of follow them around the internet to remind them of what they were looking at. We do something very similar within Meta, which is Facebook and Instagram, with advertising and retargeting for visitors and anyone that engaged with us. So those two are a really important part of our mix for beginning awareness. And they're quite different. Search, it can catch people at different parts of the funnel. It might just be at the beginning of their journey of thinking about a vacation to Colorado, but it might be near the end, and they're really narrowing down what exactly they're looking for. So those are two really interesting different pieces that we use. Of course, email marketing, which is a mix of repeat guests or existing Moving Mountains guests, but we do have quite a few subscribers that are just subscribers that are interested in what we're doing, and maybe they're thinking about booking with us. So it's not only, the guests that have stayed with us before. The focus on our website in general, which would really come to kind of organic traffic that we call it to the website. So we do a lot of work on the content development, the actual back-end structure of the site, the ways that our pages are structured, laid out, and the content is there. So that helps to lead to new people that we're not necessarily paying ads to get them to the website. And this actually is something that we're seeing not only with Google and Bing and the traditional search engines, but of course, ChatGPT and the other LLMs that are emerging now. And so a lot of the work that we do that helps with search engine optimization, that primes the website for showing up in Google results, for example, it's very similar, but a little bit different for these LLMs. And we're seeing great results. In the last few months, it's really spiked our traffic coming from ChatGPT specifically. And we're even seeing some sources of business coming from there. So it's an exciting time with just developing the website itself as its own channel. So those are the big ones that I would say, each has a different role, if it's the inspiration time, if they're in consideration, or if they're just ready to book, they all, fit their little niche.
Yeah, that's really exciting to hear that we're using ChatGPT in that way. There's so much AI that is coming out, and to really be able to tap into those different functions is exciting. I know that ChatGPT feels like something that everybody has been using and talking about and having the app on their phones. So I'm so happy to hear that we're staying up with those trends and making sure that we're using them to our advantage. I know that the weekly emails is also a hot topic with our homeowners. And over the years, I know that we've certainly analyzed and looked at that and made adjustments. Can you talk a little bit about our strategy with those weekly emails and just letting our homeowners know how we decide, what we're putting out every week and what homes we're choosing to highlight?
Yes, so we love our email marketing program. This is where we see a lot of repeat bookings. We get to interest new guests, and we're always looking at the reporting and analyzing what's of interest. So either within our email program or within the luxury travel sector in general. So deciding what we're going to feature, we have historical data year over year, seeing the certain times that people are interested in, booking maybe the holiday vacations or spring break vacations or things like that. And then we really dig into, our editorial things. And what we've been finding is that kind of insider tips are of interest a lot. So our staff picks has been very popular. So we're definitely going to continue with that. People love hearing from our local teams because they're visiting this place and get to hear about their favorite breakfast spots, or maybe their tree runs at the resort, or where they like to go with the family for their hot chocolate for a holiday, or whatever that might be. So the way that we decide, is kind of a mix of all those things and what we've seen. We're also focused on the experience, like we've talked about. So that's where the amenity focus is really coming in. And so you'll notice that in the last about year, we've really focused on amenity filters at the bottom. So again, that's ski in, ski out, maybe that ultra fast Wi-Fi, an office, theater room, whatever it may be. This is what we're really seeing our list engage with. So we're starting. Well, we've been featuring that now for about the last year, and we're seeing some great success there. But again, we tried something new, and we're now pivoting some different content in the coming months. That you'll see some kind of different topics popping up as well. So we're always trying to keep it very fresh, and make sure that we're matching what our subscribers are interested in.
Yeah, and I think that staff picks, it really does create that engagement with our guests and everybody that's on our list. When you see something that's a little bit more interesting to read about, rather than just looking at, here, look at these 6 homes, we're talking about what you're going to do when you're here, the experience in the home, whether it's, like you said, the ski in, ski out, or great fireplaces, or amazing views, or hang out on the deck. I think that those are all really, really interesting and engaging, and very excited to see what is to come. So, Julie, I just want to thank you so much again for taking the time and just giving a little glimpse into your life for our homeowners. And to our homeowners, I'm sure that you guys might have more marketing questions, maybe things we didn't answer. Please feel free to reach out to me. We can collaborate with Julie. But again, Julie, thank you so much for taking the time today and sharing all that great information.
Thank you for having me. This was great.